I have Matt here today. Was fucking fire because Matt is a guy that positively followed me now since almost a year or something. Like, he were before in LGAU, and it
Yeah,
basically was the four group to agency velocity. There he was already in my mindset calls, and then he followed me to agency velocity, and then he did sometimes even two calls, like one in LGAU and one in. He's a big fan, so that's why I'm
double
very
dose.
grateful that he's here. And he's also going for the program right now. So welcome, Matt. Let's go
Let's
through this
go
together.
for sure.
Fucking fire.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, okay, cool. So let me ask you a few questions. So, first of all, the before situation. So before we work together, what specific mental virus or limiting beliefs was sabotaging your success that you couldn't see at the time? And what strategies did you know you should implement but kept finding yourself unable to execute on?
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to um, thinking I'm not good enough. Um, Even
Hmm.
though that I've had past success, it's just like when you get overwhelmed, you like your ego just like tries to keep you safe, right? So that's
Hmm.
one. And then just like bad habits when I'm feeling overwhelmed or overworked,
Hmm.
either like avoiding the work or working too hard, leading to burnout. And then yeah, like fear of failure, rejection, imposter syndrome, like all the basic things.
Hmm.
Um, I actually didn't. It was just like a lack of awareness. I didn't even think I needed to work on it specifically. Um, so yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing. So having this program, it just brought a lot of awareness to like what was going on, and
Hmm.
then like having the strategies to kind of rewire, your thoughts and your beliefs. So that's
Super
that's
fun.
what I would say.
Okay, cool. Failed solutions. So what had you previously tried to overcome these implementation issues? Why didn't those approaches work for you? Like, did you try anything before? Or you said you were not even conscious about it. So, but did you try anything before or no?
Well, sorry to interrupt your video, but it's for something important. I know exactly that only 20% of you will watch this video until the end, and I don't want you to miss out. I have a new school group, all right? And if you like my content, you have to join the school group because there you're going to find my best shit from now on. And it's completely free. And I have something super special for you. I have created a course for you that I call the Natural Success Code. And what I'm going to do there is teaching you in 7 days exactly how you can find all your hidden mental blockers and get your natural success mindset back that you had as a kid before society installed all the bullshit. So if you like my shit, join my school group below. The link is below. Sign up right now and I'll see you inside. And now continue the video. I would watch it to the end if I would be you because it's fucking fire.
Yeah, so since my son was born 2 years ago, like I've been trying to work on like my emotional regulation. So I've done a lot of like therapy, hypnosis, hypnotherapy, and some other coaching. The
Hmm.
problem with that, like obviously it's good, don't get me wrong, but there's no like clear roadmap for like
Hmm.
improving your business success from like a mindset perspective.
Hmm.
So, like I said, it helped with like my emotional well-being and being more aware of my thoughts and behaviors, but really lacked like the practical practices, to really drive like action and revenue and making sure that you're like in alignment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Thanks, man. Okay. And what was like the specific moment, like the breakthrough moment when you realized your limitations weren't your fault, but actually mental viruses installed in your operating system? And how did that realization feel?
Yeah, I think when I think in the exercise in the one of the modules, there's this debugging exercise, right? And you have to like
Yeah.
identify where the root cause of something from childhood or your teenage years.
Yeah.
So I was trying to identify like where these like viruses or like limiting beliefs and like all these kind of things were coming from. So a lot of it came from either my parents or teachers, I really struggled in school. I was never, I didn't think I was smart. So then I kind of carried that into like adulthood because I didn't fit the system, similar
Yeah.
to your story.
Yeah.
Um, and just like realizing that you're just being passed down like traumas and core beliefs from these role figures in your life. And really like what it feels like is like it's empowering because once you're aware that you're not these thoughts, these beliefs, then it actually puts you in the driver's seat to actively, start working on changing and rewiring your brain to like think of success differently. And
Hmm.
that, your view of money as well. Like I always thought like, oh, rich people are evil, or like they're selfish, and like it's the complete opposite. Like they're actually more giving. You know, the poor people are selfish because they don't have a lot, so they keep it to themselves, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest breakthrough.
Wow. Okay. Thanks for sharing this. The most powerful debugging. What was the most shocking mental virus you discovered through the course? And once eliminated, what immediate changes did you notice in your implementation and business?
Yeah, so I think I touched on this earlier. So whenever I got overwhelmed or stressed, I tend to do one of two things. So either I work so hard that I burn myself to the ground, and obviously leading to burnout, which is not good, or I avoid the work entirely because I'm afraid of failure, or I overthink things, or I'm afraid of just going down that path of burnout. You know what I mean? So like once I was aware of that, I started to be more diligent in, you know, taking more breaks and like exercising, eating clean, like making sure that my body's strong, touching grass, just being grounded, going on daily walks. Because like you can like work all you want, but like you're kind of just running yourself into the ground if you're not taking care of like your mind and body. So yeah, once I did that, you know, um, definitely led to I feel like 10 times better, 100%.
Okay. Cool, man. That sounds great. So the tangible results, do you have any specific revenue or business growth that happened as direct result of eliminating these mental viruses? And what's been the return of investment in this mental debugging work?
Yeah, so in terms of business, it's not really an like a business growth in terms of like my go-to-market consultancy or agency for early stage startups. But after I took the high five test, I like did a deep dive into like what I truly wanted, and I realized that the agency was more of a means to an end.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a software engineering background.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like when I joined AV, I really wanted to learn like the marketing side, right? I want to stack these skills. I already had the software skills. I was in sales before,
Mm-hmm.
and the marketing was like the last piece. So, my niche is helping early stage SaaS companies. So I help them generate more leads, more demos, revenue, using cold email as a mechanism. But what I really wanted to do is start my own SaaS. So
Okay.
after I did that test, I really like started thinking about it more, started putting it out in the universe. I actually saw like Dylan from AV, he was like starting a SaaS. I know
Mm-hmm.
Wesley and Enoch, they have their SaaS. And I was like,
Nina,
okay,
love.
well, like Wesley and Enoch are
Yeah,
together, you know what I mean? But
yeah, yeah.
once I was like thinking about that and like putting that, I'm like, why can't I do that? And then as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I started to think that, I was chatting with Dylan because I was like, yo, if you need help, with any like technical stuff on the code side for your SaaS, like let me know. And then right away he's like, oh, I just had a chat with another agency owner that does LinkedIn outbound. He's looking for a technical co-founder. Um, yeah, he connected me and then we talked, and in that one conversation I'm like, let's do it. And then
Wow.
we met last Wednesday and I've already built the MVP. Like it's almost ready to launch. Full
Boom.
front end, full back end, APIs, the web app and extension, it's pretty much ready to go. So I think that like when I was doing lead gen stuff, like I felt like I was always in like I wasn't able to get into that flow state. But then when I switched to doing like the code, when I was like coding and like solving those kind of problems, it brought me back to when I was a software engineer for 5 years. I'm like, this is what I need to do. Like, what am I doing? Like
Yeah.
now I just realized, the mark like doing cold email was just like a skill that I needed to learn, but it wasn't the thing that I wanted to do. So I
Mm-hmm.
think like the Japanese people call that harmony, ikagi, where you
Yeah, I
do
know it.
something that
Ikagi. Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
where you do something that you love doing, that makes you money and helps people. So I think that's like as soon as like when I did that test, I felt like I was like way more in alignment. And then meeting that other co-founder, like that just was the moment. So I don't have specific ROI numbers yet, but I'll keep you posted. Maybe we'll blow up to millions, you know?
I love it, man. I love it. This is so great what you say here now, because like I think it's for so many people like this. I speak also to so many people, and sometimes I have somebody who's like, oh, the agency is my end goal,
Yeah.
because it's like, I don't know, like for me the same. Like I don't take me wrong, I love the agency and stuff like this, but when I started doing this to create this course and help you guys, like, bro, it's so different. I feel so on fire. It's
Yeah.
like it's completely my element, you know what I mean? So that's why I 100% understand where you're coming from, man. It's just like, and that's why also I put the strength test, and the next thing that comes next, where you basically really go in to find out your purpose and your deeper thing into
Yeah.
this point, because I think you need to do first all the deep work, and then you are like, okay, now what I'm doing with it, right?
Yeah. And I felt that when I was doing sales calls, it was very draining. Even though I knew that I was fine at them, I wasn't scared. It just like it took a lot of like mental energy and like the prep, the leading up to the call. And then when I'm in code, like when I'm doing like coding stuff, I'm just like constantly in flow. Like I can literally, as soon as I sit down, boom, no distractions. I don't even need my phone. I'm just like locked in all the time, and I'm like, okay, this is what it like feels like to be, in that true alignment. So it's definitely it's exciting, man. I'm fucking pumped.
Yeah, I can see it. This is so great. Like
Yes,
I always
sir.
love it when people tell about these things that they really love doing, because the eyes start to light. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
completely different story. You talk about lead gen, like, I'm doing this and that and that and that and that, and now I'm doing this, and this is
Yeah.
amazing, and I fucking love it.
Like the
It's
puppy
so
dog
great.
eyes.
That's also the reason why I created the program, and that's what's very important for me, to give you guys one more time this question, like, for what I'm here actually, because I think for me personally, like, maybe I don't know, I hope I find more people that really think that, right? Because I'm like, there's this beautiful saying, the two most important days in life are the one when you're born and the one when you find out why. Like, that's
Yes.
powerful, right?
Find your why, yeah, Simon Sinek.
I love that. So this is coming, by the way, and as the next thing in the course. So yeah, okay, that's fire, man. I love hearing that story. That's so great. And you know what's interesting is, like, because you open yourself up for it. So you basically open
Yeah.
it up to the universe or whatever, and
Then it
boom,
gives you
it's
what you want.
coming. The Raz is
Yeah,
trying, pulling it into your
exactly.
life.
You
That
gotta
is crazy.
trust the source, trust the universe, trust God, whatever you want to define. But
Yeah,
yeah, you put it out there, you have utmost like belief and certainty. You operate on a higher frequency, from a state of gratitude and not lack, and
yeah.
good things happen.
I love it, man. So great. Okay. What has been like the emotional transformation? So how has your day-to-day experience of being an entrepreneur changed since debugging these mental viruses, and what's the biggest difference in how you feel?
Yeah, I think I've touched on this. So
Mhm.
just the realization that I was in a state of force versus flow. So like when I was in doing lead gen, nothing like I was fine at it, don't get me wrong. It it didn't feel the same as when I started doing the SaaS, you know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
understanding that my software background plus my experience in running cold email for SaaS companies, coming full circle, now I feel super energized, motivated, excited for the future. Like I'm operating at a new frequency that I've never like I was in
Mhm.
a lower frequency because I was doing something like I knew that I was like good at, but it wasn't truly what I wanted to do. Now it's
Mhm.
completely flipped. So obviously now you're feeling all those like positive, emotions like, gratitude, um, love, harmony, all that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
still running the agency for like cash flow and whatnot, but
Mhm.
it's not like my main focus. Like obviously I want to still stay up to date and all that kind of stuff, still build connections,
Yeah.
and potentially use this as like a downsell. So yeah,
Mhm.
exciting.
Super fire. Okay. And also, obviously, you can still use cold email for yourself as well. That's the next thing,
Exactly.
right? So
Yeah.
this is also something that I also obviously do. So like for this, it's like when you put it all together, it all makes fucking sense.
Yeah. Now I don't have to worry about clients because I'm like, I can't change their offer. I can change my offer. I can do whatever the fuck I want. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
I can change my ICP. I can change the marketing. I can do whatever. Like I'm in control and I don't have
Yeah.
to rely like now everything's on me, versus when I had clients that were on retainer and they couldn't close anyone because they're dog shit at sales, then that's on me, right? That's still on me because they're going to not see the ROI. But if I
Yeah.
put the same effort into my own SaaS, my own business, you know, the like it's no brainer, you know.
Yeah, 100% agreement. This is so far. All right, cool. What's the next one? Addressing skepticism. So, what would you say to someone who is skeptical that mental debugging could really transform their businesses quickly, and what would convince them?
I think if someone's skeptical, I think that's just your ego trying to protect you. Um, it all starts with the awareness, right? So if you take the program and you go through the mental debugging and find out what your limiting beliefs are, what your fears are, having that awareness will allow you to feel that empowerment to change. So you go from like that, like I said before, like that low frequency of like fear, lack, scarcity, all that kind of stuff. So to convince them, you know, once you're aware of that, you can change and then you can start going towards that path to operating on the higher frequency where you're, you know, grateful and everything's in like alignment, like I said. I don't know if that
Perfect.
answers the question.
No, perfectly. It answers the question. Okay. And what would you say to directly to someone watching this who knows they're capable of more, but keeps hitting invisible barriers to their success?
Yeah, I think the barriers are you're only stuck because you haven't leveled up enough to beat that final boss. Like you haven't done all the work to beat Bowser, you know what I mean? So you need to consistently work on yourself and have one belief that everything will work out. And then I guess to relate to my story, like when I was struggling, all I was focused on were the problems, like not making enough revenue, not booking enough calls for clients. Clients aren't closing the deals. Like these are all like low vibrational frequencies. And you just have to realize like your thoughts lead to actions which lead to results. So if you're constantly thinking these negative thoughts, then that's what the universe is going to give you. So instead, really shift your perspective to the feeling of, you know, those high vibrational frequencies like gratitude and really trusting that the universe will work out and I bet that I'll like help you overcome that barriers. That's what I would say.
Fucking fire. Super great. Okay, and the last one, join Limitless Rewired. So what would you say to someone that is on the fence to join Limitless Rewired?
Yeah, think Nike, just do it. The best investment you can make is in yourself. Or Alex Hormozy would say, call it the S&Me 500. So I think this program will help you become more aware of your thoughts and limiting beliefs and give you a tangible plan to implement. So, but it only works if you follow through and consistently do the things he says, like anything in life. Like if you want to work out and get strong and fit and you don't go to the gym every day or 3 to 4 times a day, you're not going to get strong. Like, you know what I mean? So invest in yourself and you'll reap the rewards. That's what I'll say.
Right, super. All right, thank you very much, Matt. That was great. Really enjoyed that.
Boom.
Let's keep on rocking.
Let's go.
Oh.
Super fire.